So this one's for all the church techies out there, the guys who are behind the scenes making things happen. So if you've ever watched Elevation Worship's videos, specifically their drum cam videos, you'll find that they use drum triggers on their drums. And I've always wondered what they're for, and I was told that they were used to control their gates. So I had a crazy idea. I'm gonna put one of these guys on this here snare drum, or not this exact one, my DW is over there, but I'm gonna test it out. So I'm gonna put this into my X32 and see how it works. All right, so the first step is to show you exactly what I'm gonna be using. Here I have my pork pie snare drum. This guy is a brass patinaed snare drum. It's a really cool drum. And I have here, this is essentially acting as a DI box. It takes XLR and it converts it to 1/4 inch. And then I have this here Yamaha GT50S. So it's a trigger. Let's go ahead and unbox that guy. That comes with a 1/4 inch cable. Your manual, don't need that right now. And the trigger itself. So that's clean, that looks good. I'm getting my fingerprints all over it already. But essentially what this does is it just clips onto the edge. Oh, I have to unscrew it first. So you unscrew it, you clip it onto the edge, you tighten that screw, and then there you go. You got your drum trigger installed right there. So that's this guy. And like I said, essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this cord, run it, or take this 1/4 inch cable, and I'm gonna run it from this guy into this guy, and then put this guy into my X32. So let's go over to the stage boxes and let's see how that process is gonna work. Okay, so I've just installed that trigger right next to the mic, and I've already run the cable, and I'm here behind the scenes with my Midas stage boxes, and I am about to plug this guy in. So it's gonna go into channel 26, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and into channel 26. So let's see what happens on my iPad. Do I get anything? Nothing. So let's see what happens whenever I hit the snare drum. Let's see if I get something. Oh, it gets a signal. Yes. Okay. So that works. All right, let me turn my snares on. Oh, I can't. Okay. Wow. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go actually to the actual X32 desk, and we are going to actually check it out. And I'm gonna show you how exactly I'm going to set it up. And this is just my thought process. This probably isn't the way that they actually set it up and do this at Elevation, but I think this is an interesting test to see how it's done. Okay, so I'm here at my X32. I have the snare top channel selected, and I'm on the gate section. And on the menu here, you know, it's a pretty heavy gate, but it's not active. If I activated it, it would turn yellow, but I don't have it active. So the cool little thing about the gates is that you have this section right here called key source. So essentially this is what channel the gate of this specific channel strip will open with. So in this case, it's gonna be the channel 26, or it's going to be the drum trigger. So the gate for this channel will be activated every time this channel is activated, or every time that this channel gets a signal, in which case the trigger is sending a signal to here, which sends a signal to here to open up the gate. So we're gonna test it out, and I'm gonna turn the gate on, and I'm gonna have a recording of before and after. So let's go ahead and test it out. Hey guys, so I'm back here behind the drum kit. I have my iPad, I have the drum trigger connected and installed on the snare drum, and I'm ready to do some testing. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see a recording of my iPad screen and everything that I'm seeing on my end. So right now I'm in this app called Mixing Station. What it allows me to do is it allows me to connect to my Behringer X32 over a Wi-Fi network. And so as you can see, I have everything except for this microphone, the drum kit, and channel 26 muted. So channel 26 is what I'm going to use as the drum trigger input. So now let's go ahead and go to the snare top. So I'm here in the snare top. Now let's go to the gate settings. As you can see on the right-hand side, right underneath where it says ratio, there is a block that says key. So that's referring to the channel that is being used as the gate. So in this case, it happens to be snare top. Now, if you look in the middle where the grav is, that red line is the gate being inactive or being activated. As it moves up, it becomes more disengaged. So what I mean by a gate becoming disengaged is whenever you hit a drum hard enough, the gate opens up or disengages to allow the microphone to freely and openly collect that sound. And then it'll close back up or engage to stop that sound from coming out once it hits a certain volume threshold. Typically, it's the quieter you get, the more closed a gate gets, and the louder you get, the more open it gets. So in this case, I have the gate turned on, and I have it set to the microphone that's on top of the snare drum. I'm going to mute everything except for the snare top, this microphone, and channel 26. So let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like if I was to hit the hi-hat cymbals. So as you can see with that red line moving up to the top, that means that the gate is completely wide open and volume is coming in. So if I was just to barely hit the hi-hats, the gate opens up completely for a quick second and then it shuts back down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and change the key source from snare top to channel 26. All right, so as you can see, the gate doesn't open all the way. It generally stays where it is. And the only reason why you see some slight variation in that red line is because you have sympathetic resonance. For example, it's the same phenomenon that happens whenever you hit a rack tom and you hear a snare buzz. So you hit the rack tom, and because of its proximity to the snare drum, it does have the snare drum vibrate a little bit. So that's where you get sympathetic resonance from, or where you get sympathetic snare buzz from. So now we're going to go ahead and hit the snare drum, starting from a low volume all the way to a high volume. First, starting with the trigger as the key source. Now we're going to change that source back to the microphone itself. And now we're going to turn the gate completely off. So as you can hear, there is a huge variation from the microphone, no gate, and the gate set to the trigger. So now we're going to go ahead and play a full-on groove starting with the gate off, then the gate on but set to the microphone, and then the gate on and set to the trigger. So let's hear what that sounds like. So hopefully, as you heard, there's a massive difference between switching from no gate to the gate set to the microphone to the gate set to the trigger. And I hope that this video has helped you guys. I'm not sure if this is exactly the way that Elevation gates their drums, but from the looks of it, it's probably the way that they do it. And it's an educated guess, unless Elevation Production comes out and educates us on it and tells us what exactly they do, which I think would be a great production video. I think that we could learn a lot from what they do. So anyway, like I said, if this video has helped you or your ministry at all, feel free to share it around. And I hope to see you guys in a later video.